651 Country Club Drive. Ages are 13 through 18, and we have a connection to this through the city. The Proof Project is one of the organizations that's sponsoring this, along with J6 Foundation, FELP, and Villette. Would like y'all to come out and support that, and welcome to bring your teenagers to enjoy a night of games, festivities, and an open gym. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Hare.
Thank you, Mayor. Save the date, December the 27th, 2025. We will be having our annual Kwanzaa celebration, which is sponsored by the Umoja Group. That is going to be from 1 to 4 p.m. at Smith Recreation Center. Our annual Kwanzaa celebration, December the 27th, 2025, from 1 to 4 at Smith Recreation Center. Point of contact, 910-485-8035. Always a great celebration. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilmember Hare. Councilmember Davis.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just wanted to let everyone know that the Fayetteville Next Advisory Commission will be having their annual Christmas sweater party December the 16th from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. at the Segra Stadium. If you want your tickets, please go to their website, Fayetteville Next, not website, their social media pages on Facebook, Fayetteville Next. Thank you all.
Thank you, Councilmember Davis. That council, I don't see any further announcements. And new council members, I'm sure you went through the orientation, but as we go through the agenda tonight, just press your button and I'll be able to see you and recognize you just to make sure that we are working through the SURE system. In addition to those announcements that have been made, before we go to the city manager's report, we'd like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, and all of the holidays that are upon us for you and your family. Remember that we wish you a happy holiday and safety and a great new year, and we look forward to being with Ms. Bennett, those who are able to join us to bring in 2026 as we look for great things in our great city. But council, with that, we'll move to the city manager's report. Mr. Hewitt.
Thank you, Mayor, and good evening, members of council and staff and community. Just a few brief updates tonight. The city's Economic and Community Development Department has released its annual notice of funding availability for federal community block grant and emergency solutions grant programs. These funds enable us to partner with nonprofits to expand public services, support economic opportunities, and enhance Fayetteville's response to homelessness, continuing our efforts to improve quality of life for all residents. Applications are open through January 16th at 5 p.m., and we look forward to seeing thoughtful and community-focused proposals that move Fayetteville forward. More information about those programs and opportunities is available on the city's website. Number two, I'd also invite everyone to come out for Christmas in the Park, which is a free light show open to the public from 6 to 9 p.m. each day at Arnett Park, located at 2165 Old Wilmington Highway, except for Fridays and Saturdays. Also, tomorrow night, we have our latest version of Doug in the District, which will take place at the Arts Council building here on Hay Street at 6:30 p.m. And it's an opportunity for candid conversation with me and senior staff members about topics relevant and important to our residents, particularly those in businesses in the downtown district, but anyone can come and it is open to any and all. Also a reminder that the Market House roundabout will be closed on Wednesday to reinstall the clock on the tower above. We're making great progress, if you've seen that, with the roof, and one of the clock faces actually came in today, but we'll have the roundabout closed on Wednesday for the installation of the clock. And well, in December 16th, I think there was someone who gave a note about December 16th just a moment ago, Mayor. Can't remember what that was. We also have our Fayetteville Out Front at the FAST Center, where we'll be educating residents on boards and commissions, as well as recognizing board members as well. And that will be Fayetteville Out Front, December 16th at 6:30 at the Fast Transit Center. And I would also just quickly say that with the holidays fast approaching, City Hall and City Associated offices will be closed on December 24th and 25th, Thursday and Friday, and then, of course, on January 1st, which is Thursday. And there's also a save the date for January. Not sure what this one is for, January 28th. Do you know what that is?
No, start that. We're
Okay.
not talking about your birthday. And
January 20, I'm not sure what that is on my notes.
I don't know. We voted that day off the calendar here.
Oh, it's my birthday. Thank you, Mayor, for jogging my memory. I appreciate you so much. That's all, Mr. Mayor.
All right, thank you. And new council members, you'll get used to Mr. Hewitt and his birthday. It's a year-long adventure. So, all right. So, council, thank you, Mr. Hewitt. With that, we will move to item 6.0, the approval of the agenda. Council, I look to you to the Sure system for agenda approval. Can I have a motion?
So move, sir.
Because they got us up there voting already. So hold on. So there's a motion by Councilmember Hare. Who's the second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Jones. All right. Discussion. Councilmember Green, you had a question?
Do we need to move those items?
I think
at
that's
this
coming
point?
up next.
Okay,
Under
thank you.
consent. Yes,
All right.
ma'am. All right, council, I look to you for your votes, and this is to approve the agenda. All right, Madam Clerk, that is unanimous. Motion carries. Moving to the consent items. I'm sorry, public forum. They've moved this. It used to be in a different place. So, public forum, per City Council Policy 120.9. This is a time that residents may have input and a voice what goes on in their city. The public forum will not last any longer than 30 minutes. Each speaker is limited to 3 minutes to address the City Council issues related to the City of Fayetteville. No time can or will be yielded to any other speaker by another speaker. Individuals wishing to speak at tonight's public forum should have signed up with the City Office of the City Clerk no later than 5 p.m. on the day of the meeting. When the City Clerk calls your name, please come to the podium. Please clearly state your name and an address for the record. When the light located on the podium changes from green to yellow, that means you have 30 seconds remaining. When the light changes to red, that means your time has expired. Any remaining speakers on the public forum list that did not have an opportunity to speak to address the council will have the option to have your name placed at the beginning of the next scheduled public forum list of speakers. With that, Madam Clerk.
Mayor, we have 15 speakers this evening. Our first speaker is Miss Maya Warren. Miss Maya Warren. Not present. Our next speaker is Mr. Robert Walls. Mr. Robert Walls. Not present. Our next speaker is Mr. Matthew Jones. Mr. Matthew Jones. Not present. Our next speaker is Miss Lizette Rodriguez.
Good evening, Ms. Rodriguez.
Hello, good evening. Lizette Rodriguez, Fayetteville Freedom for All. Y'all know my address. Hi, everyone. Since the inauguration of this new council, I've been studying and rereading Dr. Martin Luther King's letter from Birmingham jail. That popped into my head during the inauguration, just because many of you were citing quotes from organizers and revolutionaries like Nelson Mandela, abolitionist Frederick Douglass, and of course, Dr. King. And in that letter, he warns about those who are devoted more to order than to justice, who care more about avoiding tension than ending oppression, and who constantly say, I agree with you in the goal you seek, but I cannot agree with your methods of direct action. And going back to the inauguration, many of you spoke about creating unity and not division, about being one voice instead of 10 different voices. And I want to offer a little resistance in that way of thinking, not because we should not seek unity, but because I want to ask, whose sense of unity are we referring to, and who is the one voice that the 9 other are supposed to follow? Throughout campaign season and various forums and interviews, there was a constant framing of those who hold a different opinion or who were asking tough questions as being divisive and creating division. How are we supposed to make progress in the city when certain perspectives or ideas are pushed back, or ideas that push back against the grain are framed as divisiveness? In truth, we should be celebrating discussion, nuance, understanding, and independent thinking. And in closing, I ask this incoming council to be cautious about hiding behind the fog of only one person's vision of unity, and instead seeking unity, transparency, and truth alongside the community. So I ask you all to be bold, to bring new ideas to the table, and to ask questions. After all, every single one of you has an equal vote on this council. There are a multitude of diverse voices that will follow behind me, and while we might not always see eye to eye, we are all united in our love for this community and the city, and in our mission to bring the voices of the community and the underrepresented into City Hall. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor,
Madam Clerk?
our next speaker is Miss Angela Tatum.
Good evening.
Good.
First, I'd like to welcome our new council members, Councilmember McMillan, Councilmember Ferguson, and Councilmember Jones. Welcome. It has been a very long year. Many things have been revealed and shared that have the attention of our community. We have had to deal with the city's mishandling of several projects that total in upwards of millions of dollars. We have heard the outcry from citizens demanding transparency and accountability. We even heard many of our incumbent and new council members and mayor mention transparency in their inaugural speeches. It was a big step from us once hearing from the diocese that transparency was considered the boogeyman. We even had some recent events that tested the city's position on transparency with the incorrect reporting of the mayor pro tem vote. In the minutes, it was properly reported with opposition votes from Hondros, Jones, Green, and McMillan, but on the city website, it is incorrectly reported. Although it has been correctly confirmed, we need the city to go and publish a public correction, transparency, and accountability. I look forward to the expansion and growth of the Office of Community Safety under the director of John Jones. He has some wonderful visions for OCS, and I hope that the City Council allows him to build it out how he needs to in order to answer the voices from the community. Because remember, the answers for a community will always come from that community and rarely from those who sit around the table. We are in precocious times. Language matters as we move through these challenging times. We have heard the use of the word divisiveness coming from leadership on council. I know you all get tired of hearing me juxtapose the issues in our city with the issues of Black maternal health disparities, but the barriers that are usually created are identical when someone from the community is interacting with any public institution like city government. Just as I move through hospital systems across the state, my success does not come from me going with the status quo, because the status quo is what has been harming and killing Black women. There are several red flags that come to mind from things we have heard coming from this council. One of them is when we hear someone lead with phrases like, "Let's work in unity." We don't want to create divisiveness. Let's move as one. All of these phrases are used when a leader within an entity seeks to manipulate how individual people choose to represent those they have been called to represent. As we prepare for the operation of this new council, my hope is that our seasoned incumbents allow our new incumbents to find their way through representing those who elected them. You have heard that the community's trust is low. We know what that looks like on a national level. Let's do better in our can-do city. It's time to place transparency as the moral compass in all that you all do. We, the people in this city, deserve it. We demand it, and we will not rest until we have achieved it. Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Clerk?
Mayor, our next speaker is Miss Bobby Burgess.
Good evening.
Good evening, council. Good evening, mayor, and especially a special hello to the new council members as well. Love to see you guys up there. My name is Bobby Burgess, and I live in District 4. So I've lived here about 6 years, and in the time that I've lived here, I unfortunately found that I live in a city of contradictions, that Fayetteville is a city of contradictions. So on the one hand, like the previous speakers have said, we want transparency, but then a press release goes out that incorrectly reports the votes for the mayor pro tem. We want to reduce the unhoused population, but at the same time, we're building luxury apartments that people can't afford on the average working class salary here. We want to grow and build the local economy, but a lot of the jobs that have been recently added are gas station jobs that don't provide career opportunities or real growth to the people working there. And we do provide public transit, but that transit doesn't actually take people to where a lot of the warehouse jobs are here in the city and in the county. So under the strategic plan for this year, as posted online, that shouldn't be the case, the city of contradiction point. So I'd like City Council to work on the following initiatives: diversifying housing. So working with multifamily developers that know how to finance workforce housing, and then continue to support the UDO projects like the one that's on the agenda, or a couple that are on the agenda tonight, for the development of smaller middle housing. And then join and advocate for the Yes in God's Backyard movement, which would allow churches to build affordable short-term housing for the unhoused. It's currently going through the U.S. Senate. Stop building gas stations, and welcome economically sustainable industries, because gas stations are honestly inconsistent with the strategic goals 2.1 and 2.3 as I see them, to ensure a diverse tax base and to leverage partnerships that are going to increase per capita income. And then lastly, think about putting together a shuttle service to the major plants here, again, in the city and in the county, because I realize they're not all within Fayetteville, because that would be consistent with the objective 4.1 for, the fast transit system here. So I'm talking about places like Butterball, Smithfield, Food Line Distribution, Walmart Distribution, Goodyear, and Manhumel. And you might have to partner with the county on that, and I understand. I want Fayetteville to be America's can-do city for everybody. And I feel the three priorities that I've laid out in my mind would allow that to happen and put Fayetteville on that path of true economic equity. I welcome the conversation with council members who support those initiatives now and in future weeks to come. And I look forward to seeing how the rest of fiscal year 26 shapes out. Thank you.
Mayor,
Madam Clerk?
our next speaker is Mr. Joseph Schwab.
Good evening,
Good evening.
Mayor, members of the City Council. I just want to congratulate you on your recent election victories, and thank you for your commitment to serving the people of Fayetteville. Just like last week, each of you took an oath to support and maintain the Constitution of the United States. The Fourth Amendment guarantees every person the fundamental right to be secure in their persons, papers, and effects, free from unreasonable searches and seizures. Yet today, in our own state, we are seeing federal law enforcement's actions that raise serious concerns about violations of these Constitution protections. The city of Fayetteville has both the authority and the responsibility to stand up for the residents. You have before you a resolution that you can easily adopt for the city of Fayetteville. You have an opportunity to do exactly that by passing this resolution or something similar, affirming and defending the Fourth Amendment rights of the people of Fayetteville. By adopting this resolution, you not only help safeguard our community, but you also honor the oath you took just days ago. I urge you to take this step to protect our constitutional rights and to show the people of Fayetteville that their freedoms will always come first. Thank you.
Madam Clerk?
Mayor, our next speaker is Miss Ashley Evans.
Good evening.
Good evening, Ashley Evans, District 9. Members of council, city staff, and neighbors, I was disappointed after observing the last meeting where you all didn't even want to consider Councilmember Benavente's resolution regarding our local immigrant population. So I'm here today to speak for the safety, dignity, and rights of all people who reside here in Fayetteville and call it home. As a transplant myself, it's not hard to tell that Fayetteville is a very proud, diverse, working class city. Our community is made up of folks from all different walks of life, from the longtime residents to the military to our immigrant and refugee communities. Today, I'm urging this council to take a very clear public stand against cooperation with the Federal Immigration Enforcement, otherwise known as ICE. The Constitution is clear under the 10th Amendment. The federal government cannot compel state or local governments to enforce federal programs. That includes ICE. Non-cooperation is not only lawful, but constitutional and critical in this time of federal intimidation. We must also speak and lead with moral clarity. ICE, as it stands today, is increasingly and imperiously involving themselves in family separation, racial profiling, detaining actual citizens as a result, and detaining our innocent neighbors who pose no threat to our communities. Children in our schools go to class wondering if their parents will be home when they return. That trauma is real, and we know it's happening in communities not very far from ours. We don't have to look further than Raleigh or Charlotte. I implore you to be a city with a spine that's governed with courage against the current blatantly racist, xenophobic, and cruel administration. Families should be able to trust that we will not turn them over to federal detention. We should stand for a city that keeps families whole. Let me remind you of something fundamental. This is the people's house, not your house, not the federal government's house, the people's house. The authority you hold comes from the residents who not only elected you, but those who may not be able to vote, those who still live, work, worship, and raise their children in this city. That authority carries a promise and a responsibility to protect our community from harm, including harm imposed by the federal government. For that reason, I urge you to adopt a clear policy of non-cooperation with ICE, to preserve community trust, our constitutional rights, and affirm that every person who calls Fayetteville home, documented or not, deserves safety, dignity, and equal protection. This council has an obligation to shield our residents from unnecessary harm. We demand non-cooperation, and we demand that in writing. Thank you.
Madam Clerk?
Mayor, our next speaker is Miss Arlene Fields.
Good evening, Ms. Fields.
Good evening, Mayor Colvin and City Council members. My name is Arlene Fields, and my address is on file with the City Clerk's office. I have lived in District 1 for 26 years. I have voted in every election, but I only started paying attention to local politics in the last few years. Until then, I thought my civic duty ended at the ballot box. I now understand the importance of listening to and speaking with my elected leaders and holding them accountable. Tonight, I am speaking to you to urge you to prioritize people over punishment and surveillance. Reputable research studies consistently show that the possibility of punishment is not an effective deterrent to many crimes. This is why red light cameras and increased police presence with radar guns doesn't decrease unsafe driving. ShotSpotter does not decrease gun violence. Criminalizing sleeping in public spaces does not reduce homelessness. Youth curfews do not reduce juvenile violence. And penalizing panhandlers and the people who give to them does not reduce panhandling. I've heard more than one of you refer to some of the above measures as just another tool in the toolbox. But if your problem is a screw and that tool is a hammer, you're going to end up doing irrevocable harm. So what does work? Social intervention programs. And you all know that. Fayetteville has some good ones, and if the time and money spent on largely ineffective punitive measures is reallocated to them, they can become much more effective. I thank you all, returning council members and newly elected members, for serving our city. I'm a firm believer in the separation of church and state, but I cannot deny that my call to justice and service is rooted in the teachings of Jesus. Based on your inauguration speeches, it appears that many of you are like-minded. So if you will permit me, I would like to leave you with this quote from John Wesley, the founder of Methodism. Love is the fulfilling of the law, the end of the commandment. Very excellent things are spoken of love. It is the essence, the spirit, the life of all virtue. It is not only the first and great command, but it is all the commandments in one. Whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are amiable, if there be any virtue, if there be any praise, they are all comprised in this one word, love. Thank you for this opportunity to speak.
Madam Clerk.
Mayor, our next speaker is Mr. Benjamin Hultquist. Mr. Benjamin Hultquist. Not present. Our next speaker is Ms. Crystal Maddox. Ms. Crystal Maddox. Not present. Our next speaker is Mr. Robert Edwards.
Mo, you know.
So, you're not allowed to speak, though, because only he's allowed to sign up. Okay, I'll pass it out.
All right, Madam Clerk.
Our next speaker is Mr. Jose Cardona.
Good evening, Mr. Cardona.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, and new members. Congratulations to you on your selection for pain and suffering. Welcome. I am Jose I. Cardona. I live at 233 Addison Street in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Tonight I want to thank the people who tried to keep me off from on Thursday, speaking on the Fayetteville Technical Community College. It probably was nobody from Fayetteville. Could have been somebody from Cumberland County. It could have been somebody from Fayetteville State University who tried to keep me from speaking my piece. But I thank you. Whoever it was, I thank those people, whoever they are. Tonight I come to talk to you about what I talked the other day about the water of the Cape Fear River. Today I come to tell you it doesn't belong to us. It belongs to the people of the state of North Carolina. It starts all the way at Moncure, the little town of Moncure on the other side of Raleigh. It goes all the way to Wilmington, North Carolina. We don't have a right. We don't have a paper. We don't have nothing. We cannot demand that those people do not get the water that they deserve and they need because their population is increasing 2 years. They're doing real good. The normal per capita income is over $150,000 when we're barely making $30,000 in the city. You know, it's not fair to them. It's not fair to nobody. We also, understand that we are pumping into Shermore chemical plant millions of gallons that nowhere from PwC anybody said anything about. And then we in turn turning and putting back into the river polluted with PFAS and benzene and every chemical you could think of. We just gave them $4 million, so they could be retaining ponds, filters, chemicals. All the chemists in the state of North Carolina, from Wilmington to Raleigh, they could state on the Bible that it doesn't work. The chemicals are there and they're forever. That's why they call forever chemicals. How can you stop it? They all could say one reason and one reason only. Close the plant down. That's what you got to do. You're killing the people downriver. You're killing the people in Grace Creek. You're killing the people here in Fayetteville. We're getting polluted water. Please stop this. You could do it. Do any of you make $5 million a year? No. But the CEO for Chermwood does. Guess where she lives? She doesn't live in Fayetteville. She lives somewhere in the middle from here to New York, drinking nice, safe water and everything else. People, listen to the boys. Listen to my boys. I have come to you before about polluted water. You should know that. You was here when you was a council member. Please, gentlemen, we are polluting our children. We're killing our children. And the worst thing I could see in my life is a child dying of cancer. Right now, across the street, you have a gentleman that's walking around with a with a blanket.
Ms. Cardone, that means your time's up, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good remark.
Have a good one. Thank you.
All right. Madam Clerk.
Mayor, our next speaker is Mr. Chalico Hurst. Mr. Chalico Hurst. Not present. Mayor, our final speaker is Mr. Kanchan Kamone. Mr. Kamone?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, everybody. My name is Kong Kamon, or Kong Chan Kamon. I'm a refugee from Laos. I'm not afraid of ice. My oldest son just retired from the Air Force after serving 22 years at U.S. Air Force. Okay, tonight I would like to come down and try to see if I can ask for reconsideration to file a motion, to reverse the process of to demo my house on 206 Campbell. This house is everything to me, okay? I bought this home back in right before COVID, okay, from Mrs. Anderson. And then the same, Mrs. Anderson also sell this house like 200 feet away from my house, okay? Look at this house here. Compared to my house, this house inside is all like, the floors, part of it gone and stuff. My house still intact, okay? The foundation, everything, okay? It had 7 bedrooms in it, and then it had the small house with a 2-bedroom, 2-bath in it. This is a perfect home for the future group home, okay? That's what I love to do. I run the group home in Idaho, like 17 years. So this is what I want to do, and then if you guys tear it down, what I'm gonna do? You just kill my job, my career. And besides, you just, like we throw away the natural resource, to build the house like that right now, less 300,000 at least. What's the remaining? It's still good, good stuff. Why tearing it down? And you overcrowd the landfill also, right? Would you please reconsider that, So I would like to ask, kindly. And I feel like I was discriminated against because that house been like that for before I bought my house. And nobody ever bothered with it. But they come over and harass me and stuff. Tag as condemn my house because of the crack on the foundation on the porch, the front porch. And 3 baluster missing, that's all. This is dangerous. And it's under remodeling permit too. I mean the, active permit. This is not right.
Mr. Come on. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. All right, Madam Clerk.
Sorry. Mayor, we have no further speakers.
All right. Thank you to all the speakers tonight. Just always real conscious about making sure that we put proper information out. The public hearing on the water and the river was at FTCC, not Fayetteville State. So we want to make sure that we don't confuse those two things. And I think Mr. Cardona's gone, but median income here is $58,000. So we wanted to make sure we put that out in the right spaces. But thank you to all you speakers, all the speakers who share with us tonight. And with council, with that, we will move to the 8.0 consent. And I know Councilmember Green and McMillan had. So if you could, and Councilmember Green, I know you know, but Councilmember McMillan, what we could do is, if, as you all have talked about that, you can, if you choose, you can approve consent with the exception of the item that you want pulled, and then we can kind of discuss that one separately. So I'll turn it over to Councilmember Green and then McMillan.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I'd like to pull item 8.0A3 and place it under 8.0B3 and for the discussion.
All right. So that's a motion to approve with the exception of that?
A motion to move it.
All right.
Do you want me to go ahead with the full motion?
Is it? Yes, ma'am.
Okay. This dealt with.
No.
Oh.
So we need to pass the rest of the consent, and then we'll come to that
Yes,
under
that's
B.
what I thought.
So
So
it's a
he
motion
won't-
to
he won't
approve
have
with
to-
the exception of OA5, which will move, OA3, which will move to OB3.
Correct. We can move the whole
All right.
thing.
Yes. All right. And the seconded by Councilmember Davis. All right. Discussion on the motion. This will approve consent with the exception of that item, which will be discussed separately. Any questions? So the first vote is to approve consent with the exceptions that were mentioned. All right. Council, I'll look to you for your vote. All right, Madam Clerk, that's unanimous. Motion carries. All right. 8.0B3, Councilmember Green and McMillan.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is a little bit confusing, but the first part of that is policy 155.1, which was on the agenda with several different items and ways to handle the, I'm sorry, I'm trying to find it on my, different policies coming out of the policy committee. We would like to approve those that are presented for item under policy 155.1 but to also add deed in lieu of foreclosure as an acquisition option.
All right. So separating the two concerns, and before we get Councilmember Green to present a motion, Councilmember McMillan, you wanted to speak on that?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would like to move that we send policy 155.6 to the January 5th work session. That's expressly the part of the agenda item that pertains to the lease policy for the city.
All right. So, yes, sir. Councilmember Davis, you had a question?
Councilwoman Green made a motion. So are we going to vote on hers first?
Yeah, we are. We're going to separate that.
Okay.
It wasn't put in the form of a motion. So I didn't circle back for a second. So, Councilmember Green, I wanted Councilmember McMillan to state the portion that he was asking to go back to the work session. So, Councilmember Green, that was a motion, if you could repeat it, to approve the portion that you mentioned or that you referenced, with the exception of the portion that Councilmember McMillan wanted to go back to the work session, correct?
Correct, but with the addition of the deed in lieu of foreclosure being added to the list of acquisition options.
All right, so there's a motion by Councilmember Green to approve that section with the addition of the deed in lieu of foreclosure language that was mentioned, and seconded by Councilmember Hondros. Discussion, so we're gonna, and then I'll come to you for the same to move your portion to the work session. All right, Council, any other questions, discussion? All right, we'll look to you for your votes on that item, and this is to move that portion forward. All right, Madam Clerk, it's unanimous. All right, Councilmember McMillan, your portion.
Yes, I move that we send policy 155.6 to the January 5th work session.
All right, there's a motion by Councilmember McMillan to move the portion reference to the work session for further discussion, seconded by Councilmember Hare. Any discussion on that?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, if I may.
Yes.
I was going to say, did you say exactly, you didn't say leases, did you?
He just moved the entire portion back.
Okay, I thought you were going to, okay.
But during the discussion, if you had a question, I can call to you, but
Yeah,
You
thank
have the
you,
floor, sir.
Mr. Mayor. Yeah, just to provide transparency, especially to the public, on what's being done. This is something that came through the Rules Committee that talks specifically about property that the city owns that is leased on a short-term basis to nonprofits and also to economic development organizations. And I read this, and I absolutely agree with the program on its merits. I think it's amazing that we do have a program that allows for lease, especially by nonprofits who mitigate a lot of harm that's done systemically here in the city. However, just upon examining it, I think there's more room, especially for transparency and accountability within the policy. What I noted is that it lacks details about how the messages or how the announcements of what property is available are made to the public. My concern, just in reading that, is that this would be an excellent program that only sees our friends and families or people that we know, and does not get out to the entire public as an offer. So I would like this to go back to the work session. I mentioned upstairs that there are some things that we can do in terms of how the announcements are made, in terms of insisting on things like multi-channel listings, so that everybody understands these properties are available and we don't fall into nepotism as a pattern. Also think there's some room on the other side of this in terms of accountability. There are measures we can put in place that allow for the public to have a say and even protest if they think these are being unfairly awarded. And would like to work through that during the work session with the council and send this back to rules for some refinement. I appreciate the opportunity to explain that.
All right, thank you. So there's a motion on the floor to move this section of tonight's proposed changes back to a work session. We've had discussion, council seeing no further. I'll look to you for your votes, and this is to move this to the work session. You had a question?
Yes, sir. Just wanted to make sure, if I could, Mayor, and to the maker of the motion, that to our staff, since you are hearing what the concern issues are, maybe by the time it comes to the work session, maybe you could have some additional alternatives, objectives for us at that time instead of, so.
And I think that part of what we talked about, we just didn't have the opportunity to bring council fully aware. There's a process now of listing that will be explained to us and the channels and avenues that are used in the statute. So the attorney and the manager will have preparation for that. But we wanted to send this to a work session to spend the proper time on it to make sure we all understood what was being done and if we could do it better. Is that right?
Agreed, sir.
All right.
Yes.
Well, let me also add, Mr. Mayor, that the properties we're talking about lease long-term properties. So we don't have any properties currently, and the properties that have been leased are long-term properties, which haven't been probably out for rebid since I've been on council. So let's make sure that we are future thinking about, in case something of this does happen, that we have measures for clear transparency.
Yes, sir.
Sorry. Yeah, another piece of this is you've heard over and over again, transparency and accountability as a demand from the people, from the public, in order to move forward in a way that establishes trust and builds trust. I think we should look at all of our policies through the lens of how can we be more transparent, how can we be more accountable to the people. This is the people's house.
Yeah, agree. And but I think it'll benefit us from a meeting to understand where we are and see what improvements we made. But I think we're all saying the same thing, council. Looks good. I'll look to you for your votes on this item. All right. Motion carries unanimous. Thank you. Moving to 9.01, Fayetteville Redevelopment Commission Annual Report is, all right. Good evening, sir.
Didn't we have boards and commissions as well?
It's coming up.
All right. Good evening, everybody. How are y'all today?
Good evening.
Let's see if I can get this figured out here. So, Mr. Mayor, to the council, as well as City Manager, thank you for your time and patience on this. My name is Derek Scott. I'm the chair of the Fayetteville Redevelopment Commission. So I'm happy to be here to present the year in review and annual report for the Fayetteville Redevelopment Commission. It's a 7-member group, basically, of our citizens voted by you guys to be a part of it and oversee the economic and community development initiatives set forth by the city and by the group. Some of the things that we do on a monthly basis is review these quarterly reports, look at HUD grants, budgets, making sure that funds are being spent, utilized as presented, and advise on housing and development initiatives to revitalize the city and surrounding areas. This is basically a list of our current members at the moment, with me recently being voted as chair and Teddy as vice chair. Ultimately, we got a great staff and a great team that has worked incredibly hard and diligent, delivering over 150 affordable units to the city, working through many small business projects to help retain jobs and do some renovations and improvements to the properties, working with our community partners, partnerships with the Ways to Real Community Center, seeing great growth, great opportunities there, and additional engagement and involvement with our local partners. Ultimately, just lays out a kind of a four-pillar program of how our commission reviews and works through. So community partners, mostly dealing with our nonprofits, making sure that our teams are doing proper oversight and engaging with the community, and expanding those nonprofit partners to better the community any way we can with the funds that we have. Housing programs, including increasing affordable housing, single family, multifamily, home repair system, the Homebuyer Hero program, which has been a great success and continuing to grow. Economic development on the business side, whether it be the business loan improvements, whether it be corridor or gap financing to help bring more business into the city market. And then the neighborhood engagement initiatives, whether it be demolishment or even the micro grant program. So I'll go over a couple examples through each. One of our really prideful programs is the micro grant program. Really gets involvement within the community on low dollar funding, mostly focusing around crime prevention, conflict resolution, getting our youth engaged, and more so getting our nonprofits to get a starting point to where they can continually grow and help within the community. So it's been a fantastic program so far. Homebuyer Hero program, it's been a great strategy to help move more people into the city, and so trying to alleviate some of that stress on the down payment side by providing a grant program. Allocated last year $423,000. As far as I know now, it's continued to grow and getting more and more steam. So this is one that we want to keep our eyes on, and I think it's been a great light. Exterior grant program. The city's allocated money to renovate and upgrade businesses that we want to see some light to. This was on Bragg Boulevard, one of the success stories, and has turned out pretty well as far as partnership, and many more have come and to come. So, and some of the things that we have recommended over the year that's been brought to us by staff. Again, the annual action program plan, Homebuyer Hero plan, some of the single-family housing programs, and then the 5-year consolidated plan. And future priorities, again, we're going to continue oversight, making sure that spending is done properly, and making sure that we're taking these investments, investing back into the community with funds that we have to future and better this area. We're trying to expand additional development tools, and making sure that we can really grow the city to where it can surely come to. And affordable housing being a big ticker item, just expanding as many options as possible with funds that are allowed to grow that and to help our citizens while improving key corridors where traffic's inflow. And one of the nice quotes, behind every family is gaining sustainability, business growing, neighborhood improvements, and this is something that our commission works hard for. And I got to say, the staff that works in the ECD is fantastic. They put so much time and effort that I would like everybody to get the opportunity to work with them at one point in time. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Did have a couple, comments, more so than questions. So you had a busy year in review that you just mentioned to us. 50 plus businesses assisted, 67 jobs created, 117 retained, and Way Too Real, and over 3,000 people connected to services. And I know we heard earlier tonight about housing making sure that we have diversity in the pricing of housing. I know we've got something coming up later, but I wanted to look at a couple of the highlights that you said. Over $100,000 awarded for micro grants, but 17 home buyers in the Home Buyers Hero program, $423,000. I mean, that's huge. We had received a presentation to show that this actually exceeded the yearly projections in a quarter. So you all have found good success here. How are we doing on the money we allocated? Because I don't know that we anticipated for success, but that's a good problem to have. So do you have any specifics on how we're doing? And I see Mr. Colley making his way up here, so he may have details on the balance of the money. But this is a good problem to have, Mr. Colley. But I wanted to talk about that we are pushing home ownership as well as making sure that there's something in all price ranges for the people. It did reference a luxury apartment across the street, but we do see where affordable housing and median income based housing is also part of your shop. Can you speak on that a little bit?
Yes, sir. So just to your first question about the funding, we're running out of grant funding real quick. That's our 80% of area median income and below first-time home buyers. Luckily, we've got a stopgap. We have some local dollars from state appropriation that we use. But our office right now is looking how to reallocate money around to continue providing those programs. We will not stop the programs. We've got a couple of different funding sources, and that's a big part of my job is just balancing all these different pots of money and what they can and can't do. Right now for this year, we have actually surpassed 17 home buyers in the first quarter. And so we basically did what we did last year in the first quarter. So things are going very quickly. We've got great relationships with lenders out in the community who understand our program now and aren't afraid to work with the city. They know that we're fast and responsive and that we care about the clients. So nowhere to go but up.
All right. Thank you. Did have another question, Mayor Pro Tem Thompson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Colley, I just had a quick question about this one bullet, transform key corridors. You know, being on the southwest side of Fayetteville, now we have our corridors coming into the city. We'll have Camden Road, Stony Point, and Rayford Road. How are we connecting those corridors to make sure they are what the city wants to portray as people come into our city?
So that's something that I think the city manager has been implementing some new multi-department task force to look at some of those corridors. What I'm talking to the Redevelopment Commission about is corridors that are in need of redevelopment, and how do we look at those corridors that are corridors of opportunity or priority redevelopment areas. We've got a map from about 14 years ago that our prior planning director way back did. Surprisingly, that map's not all that different today, but we want to work with a lot of different departments and with the city manager's office to help bring those corridors to you guys, as these are the corridors that we think are the priority redevelopment areas. But one thing to kind of keep in mind there is that is really where our team works and where our tools work the most is in that redevelopment.
Gotcha.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Councilmember McMillan.
No, I appreciate this report. We appreciate all your work, and am impressed by the breadth of resources, of projects that you've been able to give to the public. I had two questions. One is about overlap and collaboration, especially with the OCS, the Office of Community Safety. I see a lot of your goals and your aims you have in common. Want to hear about if there's collaboration, if there's planned collaboration with OCS. And then the second part of it is that I'm excited to hear, or was excited to hear about the possibility of an economic mobility analyst, somebody who focuses on data sets that talk about how we're pulling people out of generational poverty and not just what big businesses are coming into Fayetteville. And was wondering if you could speak to us about the impact of having an economic mobility specialist or analyst on staff would be.
Sure. I think both of those questions kind of tie into there's more work than there is money and people. So I'm really appreciative that the city manager brought on Director Jones. His office is across the hall from mine. We talk often. He works with our team. He was actually at our redevelopment commission meeting when we put this presentation forward for Chair Scott. we share in the community safety micro grants. A lot of that is my team doing the administrative work and the tracking of funds and things on the back end. John has brought in a lot of thoughts about where we should be putting those dollars to best get the return on investment to impact community safety. There's a little bit of overlap with homelessness too, but again, I don't have folks that are meeting one-on-one with individuals experiencing homelessness. John does. I've got board meetings for the continuum of care, grant funds through ESG and COC and other HUD programs. And so I don't want to say that I'm stuck in an office, because I do like to talk to folks in the community, but we do a whole lot of grant management, monitoring, and investment. And John's got folks that are on the street. And I think that really is a cool way that I did not necessarily see myself a year ago. But with John coming on board, we've seen that partnership and that pairing really take off and make sense. On the economic mobility, I'll tell you, I think the federal government's loss is our gain. I had 50 candidates to go through. I narrowed it down to 5 very painfully, and so we're going to be interviewing some folks pretty soon. 3 out of the 5 have federal government experience with economic mobility initiatives, some of them internationally. I'm really excited about the folks that we have to interview, and I hope we're lucky enough to land one of them here. What I kind of envision for that role, and what Dr. Hewitt and I have talked about, is there's so many individual initiatives happening in our community, and we hope that they're all pulling in the same direction. But we don't look at that holistically and look at that entire network of opportunities that are out there. There are some things that City Council has started and have taken off once seed funding was provided. And so looking at all of these things and figuring out where do we invest limited dollars, where can we best help the school system, workforce development board, the community colleges, the universities, all of these things are going on out there, and they're really great. And we're not looking at it from like a strategic, holistic view. And so I'm hoping we can bring somebody in who can help us bring all of that stuff together.
All right, Councilmember Jones.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Very quickly, in regards to the community safety grants, I've personally just been hearing some concern from some of the community watch groups in regards to possibly, for lack of a better word, being pushed aside for, I know we're focusing on youth programs, so I don't want to diminish that. It's extremely important, but they are somewhat concerned that they would get pushed out. And these are some areas where we have some residents that are older in age that could benefit from some of the uses, such as the motion detection bulbs and things of that nature. So I wanted to make that statement. And then number 2, and I can get with you later as well, but in regards to the scorecard, the scoring of the applications when they come in for those that are not 501c3s, can you just kind of speak to that criteria? I just want to make sure, and again, I know it's competitive, so I know we can't fund everybody, but I wanted to at least address one of their concerns. Thank you.
Well, Councilmember Jones, thank you for bringing that up. When I first saw you the first day, this is one of the things you talked to me about. I thought about it a little bit, and while Director Jones and I have had conversations about pushing money towards established, more impactful programs, City Council did double the amount of funding in the last budget. So, those two things did even out a bit. On the scoring side of things, though, so we have a team of 5 scorers across a bunch of different departments, Parks and Rec, Police, my team, John's team, that all get together and score the applications. And then we push that out to an outside scoring group that includes the school system. I think juvenile justice is on that as well. There's a couple of different folks who review that. And so we try to do that to make sure that it's not just what we're thinking, or better yet, what I'm thinking, that this cross-departmental team is looking at what seems impactful. There's a lot of really great programs, and some of them have started off small and grown over the 3.5 years that we've done this program. And so, yeah, you said it right. It's an incredibly competitive field. But we do try to make sure that we have some of those tier 1 organizations, those smaller neighborhood groups that aren't, a corporation or a nonprofit entity yet, that we try to fund. And so when we bring you those reports, you'll see the spread of the tier 1, tier 2, 3, and 4 agencies that we fund. And so you can see that we're hitting all of those tiers.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Collett. Thank you, Mr. Scott. Keep up the good work in the redevelopment commission.
That
All right.
received the report, Mr.
All right, Councilman, Mayor Pro Tem.
Mr. Mayor, thank you so much. I move that we receive the redevelopment commission's report.
Second.
All right, there's a motion by Mayor Pro Tem, seconded by Councilmember Hondros. Discussion on the motion to receive the report. All right, council, I look to you for your votes. All right, Madam Clerk, it's unanimous. Moving to 10.01, is that Mr. Colley? Is that your team? Back so soon, huh?
Yes, sir. You know me, I like to batch them. All right, so tonight we're here to ask for council's consideration on accepting a option to purchase agreement and authorizing the city manager to sign that agreement. This is for 6.32 acres of our catalyst site right at the intersection of Murchison Road and pretty much a bunch of other roads, Bragg Boulevard, Robinson, and it's kind of the northeastern portion of the site, just above Bruner Street and Durham Street. This is also tied to an item that came before City Council a few weeks ago for a $2.8 million loan for 84 units of affordable housing. I'm happy to answer any questions council may have on that item, but a couple of things that I thought were interesting was that the city is able to get fair market value for this property. The developer, who's worked in our community for several decades and is in partnership with the Housing Authority on this project, did an appraisal. That appraisal came back with a fair market value of $545,000. The city, doing its due diligence, then hired an appraiser to review the methodology and the assumptions that appraiser made, and they came back affirming that work. And so before you tonight is consideration to authorize the city manager to execute that option to purchase.
All right, Council. Councilmember Davis.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. If there's no questions, I'm ready to make the motion. There's no.
Please, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that we authorize the city manager to sign an option to purchase agreement with the JBS developers and the FMHA for the purchase of the 6.32 acres of the city's Catalyst Site 1 for the construction and of an affordable housing community.
All right, it's a motion by Councilmember Davis, second by Councilmember Hare. Discussion. All right, council, I look to you for your votes. All right, Madam Clerk, it's unanimous. Motion carries. Congratulations. I see Ms. Dawn back there. I see the developer back there, Mr. Smith and others. Make us proud, sir. Will. Thank you for the work you're doing. Thank you, Mr. Colley and Mr. Scott from Redevelopment. All right, council, moving to 10.02. This is Councilmember Hare's favorite time of the meeting. He shows us how to eloquently pronounce his name, so we'll make a disclosure on the front end of this.
See, the staff, the staff that works with us, they don't normally say anything. So, Mayor, you messed it up. We just go right along with how I say it, and nobody will know but the people at home. Mayor and council and residents of Fayetteville, we're bringing forward to you tonight the recommendation of our appointments committee for 5 City of Fayetteville boards and commissions. The way this normally works with this smaller number of applicants and nominees is that whenever the applications go out and not every board is filled, we have an ordinance in place that asks staff to call some of these applicants that did not make a board and ask them would they want to change or to consider some additional boards. That's where we are tonight, and so we've been doing that very, very good over the last year or so. So, Mayor, Council, I would like to put into nomination for the Boards of Appeals, Sherelle Thomas, for the Fayetteville Advisory Committee on Transit Fact, Scott Kine, Historic Resource Commission, Laura Saunders. The Linear Park is Tyra Kamaya and Andrea Ladano. And for our planning, Monique Hamilton and Eric Hughley. And I would like to make a motion to accept these members for our next members to fill our boards and commission, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As a motion by Chairman of the Appointments Committee, Councilmember DJ Harris. Is that a second, Mayor Pro Tem?
Yes, sir.
Seconded by Mayor Pro Tem, is also a member of that committee. Discussion? All right, Council, seeing none, I'll look to you for your votes on this.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council.
That's an affirmative. Councilmember Davis, I think, stepped away. Motion carries unanimous. Congratulations to our new members. Thank you for your willingness to serve. Thank you for all who joined us for tonight's meeting. Mr. Hewitt, the item that went back to the work session, you all have that notated, and we look forward to seeing that. And just to bring the public up to date on the schedule for the meeting, the meeting that would normally be the 4th Monday. Mr. Hewitt, you addressed that on the front end. So our next scheduled meeting will be when, just for listening on it? All right, it's January 5th. So we will see you all after the turn of the year. Merry Christmas and happy holidays. Council, look to you for a motion to adjourn. All right, thank you.